Hello my dear folks, I am from NRK Academy. My name is Caesar, lecturer in English. Now I am going to teach a poem from Junior Inter English by name Television. Television is a famous poem written by Roald Dahl. Now I am going to start with the poem. The most important thing we have learned so far as children are concerned is never let them near your television set, or better still, just don't install the idiotic thing at all. The meaning of these lines is, the poet is giving a suggestion to all parents across the world not to launch or install a television set at home, because this is quite hypnotizing aspect and it takes total control of the small thoughts and it hinders their psychological growth and upsurgence. In almost every house we have watched them gaping at the screen. So at every home, whatever we visit, we continuously watch them gaping at this idiotic screen. They are getting totally hypnotized by this ghastly junk. So they lose a kind of psychological development, they lose emotional upsurgence, they lose maturity of morality, and all these things will nullify their personal and emotional development. They loll and slop and lounge about and stare until their eyes pop out. They sit in different physical postures. They lose physical control, but they continuously gaze at the television screen, and their eyes get badly damaged, and they won't have proper relaxation to mind, and eyes become so to an extent very unhealthy to its proper channelizing activity. They sit and stare and stare and sit until they are hypnotized by it, until they are absolutely drunk with all that shocking ghastly junk. So they take all this stuff into their minds without using any rationality. They don't have enough maturity to judge things, what is right and what is wrong, what is true and what is false. They totally accept them. They start imitating it, and it finally destroys their social and personal development. Oh yes, we know it keeps them still. They don't climb out the windowsill. They never fight or kick or punch. They leave you free to cook the lunch and wash the dishes in the sink. But did you ever stop to think, to wonder just exactly what this does to your beloved thought? In these lines, we can observe a parent saying, it lets them do their work properly at home. A television set is very much useful for a mother to do her homely activities properly, like washing the dishes, cleaning the utensils, preparing the lunch, and taking care of the homely activities. If there is no television set at home, a mother cannot fulfill her responsibilities properly. Any household individual cannot complete his responsibilities in time. So they are happy with this television as far as their personal responsibilities are concerned. But did a parent ever think what this does to their beloved thought? The meaning of this beautiful line is, did they ever bother about their child's emotional and mental growth? The poet made this stark point very strictly. Very poignant criticism is observed in this line. It rots the sense in the head, it kills imagination dead, it clogs and clutters up the mind, it makes a child so dull and blind. He can no longer understand a fantasy, a fairyland. His brain becomes as soft as cheese, his powers of thinking rust and freeze. He cannot think, he only sees. It rots the sense in the head, it kills imagination dead. Sense, in this context, we can understand, ability to understand good and bad, right and wrong. So the child loses this control and it kills imagination dead. The power of using imagery, becomes void in his mind. It clogs and clutters up the mind. He doesn't have proper emotional and psychological development. It makes a child so dull and blind. He cannot understand what is right and what is useful to him, and he cannot rationalize things. He cannot use his imagery so vehemently to understand the world around him. He can no longer understand a fantasy or a fairyland. So he doesn't know the difference between a fantasy and a fairyland. His brain becomes as soft as cheese. He becomes so sensitive, to an extent hypersensitive. So in this mechanical world, in this highly advanced world and up-to-date modernizing world, so being sensitive, being hypersensitive doesn't make a big difference for his personal development. His powers of thinking rust and freeze. The ability of thinking becomes rust and frozen, so it becomes useless for him, futile for his self-enhancement. He cannot think, he only sees. He cannot judge anything. He becomes so dumb, so dull, and a mere imitant cannot use life and the potential in him. So unleashing ability of potential will become void in him. All right, you cry, all right, you will say, but if we take the set away, what shall we do to entertain our darling children? Please explain. A parent is asking, exhorting the poet, sir, you have said all these things very greatly. So I have a question for you. Okay, I throw away this set away from my home. Then tell me, how should I entertain my beloved son, beloved thought, beloved kid? So tell me the way. A parent made a question. But if we take the set away, what shall we do to entertain our darling children? Please explain. We will answer this question by asking you, what use the darling ones to do? How use they keep themselves contented before this monster was invented? In the earlier days, there were kids. We don't have kids only in these modernized days. They were there earlier. They were there earlier before also. So what did they do? What did they have to entertain themselves in their leisurely time? We have to follow the same measures even today as well. So reading books is a passionate activity. It gives great emotional and psychological respite for everyone. Not only for elders, even for small tots, youngsters, teenagers as well. We will answer this by asking you, what use the darling ones to do? How use they keep themselves contented before this monster was invented? Have you forgotten? Don't you know? We will say it very loud and slow. As a parent, have you forgotten? Don't you know this? What you have done in your childhood? So this is a beautiful example, beautiful explanation, expiation given by Roald Dahl in this context. They used to read, they had read and read and read and read and then proceed to read some more. They read so many books, n number of books. They had taken so much emotional satisfaction, contentment of emotions by reading several varieties of books. There are so many tags in books like fantasies, drama, and socio-fantasies. So several genres of books are available in literature, whatever language it might be. So by reading books, we get to know the world better rather than by watching a television. By reading a book, you will get to know the world in a better line. The nursery shelves held books galore. Books cluttered up the nursery floor, and in the bedroom by the bed, more books were waiting to be read. So wherever you go in a house, you see books are thrown in different nook and corners because the child is getting all sorts of joy only through books, only by reading books. More books are waiting to be read. Oh books, what books they used to know, those children living long ago. Again the parent made a question. So the question is, oh such kids, those children were in the bygone days, not now, my dear poet Roald Dahl. Those children were there earlier, not now. So, how would you satisfy our question? How would you explain to us the best means to entertain our children? Please explain to us. This was another question raised by the same parent. So please, oh please, we beg, we pray, go, throw your TV set away, and in its place you can install a lovely bookshelf on the wall. The poet is beseeching, he is pleading all parents, please listen to me, go and throw away that idiotic monster from your house and save the future of your kids. TV nulls the future of the kids. So for that reason, please listen to me. For your children's sake, not for my sake, for the sake of your children, please throw that monster away from your houses. It will do a great favor for you, not only for you, to your children as well. Please pay your ear to me. So a beautiful suggestion is passed to all the parents. Then fill the shelves with lots of books, ignoring all the dirty looks. The moment you throw the TV set away, children change their attitude towards parents. They ignore the affection shown by their parents. They feel it as affectation, not as affection. We have to note it very clearly. We have to notice it very clearly. Affection becomes affectation when a parent throws away the TV set from home. So please ignore all those dirty looks. Pay attention towards their emotions. Try to be more patient towards the behavior of the kids. The screams and yells, the bites and kicks, they scream at parents, they shout at parents, they yell at parents, even they kick parents, they bite a parent. So ignore all these things. Have fun. After all, seeing all these things done by your children, don't lose your control. Don't lose your patience. Don't lose your attention. Don't lose your affection. The children hitting you with sticks. They might bite you. They might kick you. They might yell at you. They might kick you with sticks. Please ignore them. They will have a wonderful life. They will have a great personality cult in the future. A bright future is awaiting them. Fear not, because we promise you that in about a week or two of having nothing else to do, they will now begin to feel the need of having something to read. So fear not. As a parent, their behavior will certainly baffle you, will certainly frighten you. You become awestruck with their behavior and their activities. But fear not. Don't be panicked, because we promise you that in about a week or two of having nothing else to do, they will begin to realize the need to have something else to do. So of not having a television set at home, they feel like having some relaxation, and they find different means to have a pleasant leisurely activity, and they don't have any other options. They don't have any other go except reading books, except browsing that bookshelf which is kept instead of the television set at home. So they will begin to realize this need. So they have a kind of relaxation by reading books, and it makes a great development in their all-round development in molding, honing their psychological abilities and their inner potential, and it certainly unleashes their emotional and psychological, mental, and all sorts of horizons in their thinking order. And once they start, oh boy, you watch the slowly growing joy that fills their hearts. Once they enjoy this beautiful feeling of reading books, they want it, they go after it, they yearn for this beautiful joy. So they see the world through the eye of the writer. They understand the world by somebody else's bent of mind. So it gives a great joy for a kid. And this kid becomes a great thinker, a philosopher, or a diplomat, or somebody else, or a responsible citizen as well. They will grow so keen, they will wonder what they had ever seen in that ridiculous machine. They become so keen about understanding things. They pass very keen judgments. They start realizing facts in life very sharply. Their meticulous thinking becomes vivid, and their imagery is far above than the kids who are addicted or obsessed with television sets. A parent or a teacher can understand it better. So they wonder what we have missed in that ridiculous machine called television. That nauseating, foul, unclean, repulsive television screen. They name the television screen nauseating, very boring, absurd, hideous, heinous. So we have this many meanings for this word nauseating. Foul, unclean. The word foul gives the meaning unclean, stale. Repulsive, causing aversion. Earlier, in the very beginning, onset of the poem, we see the kids' thoughts being addicted to television sets. Now, after throwing away the television set, we see a wonderful change in their thinking. They call the television a repulsive machine, a nauseating machine, a foul machine, an idiotic thing, a monster. These many names they give to this television, unlike the earlier days. And later, each and every kid will love you more for what you did. Every kid, every thought. After becoming, youngsters, they appreciate the job done by their parents. So they appreciate their parents for what they have done for their sake, for their betterment in their future, for their well-being in future. What does a parent do for a kid more than this? A healthy mind, a healthy body. These two things are primogenial for any individual's success. As is said by Aristotle, a sound body has a sound mind. So this very thought is widely promoted, widely discussed, widely judged by Roald Dahl, our poet, in this majestic poem, Television. Thank you.